guys, it's Laurie of Laurie Sewing. Today is Monday, January 18th of 2021, and I have a few updates and projects to discuss before we start on the satin skirt. So as you can see, I've got some crochet here. I was just compelled. I was shopping with my youngest daughter at Michael's and Joann Fabrics yesterday, and I discovered this yarn right here. It is made from recycled plastic bottles, and it is so soft. And I wish that I had either taken a picture of the label or preserved it in some way other than in the middle of the ball, because I can't remember the name. We'll have to wait till I'm finished with this project. And I don't know if you can guess what I'm doing, but it's not a scarf, it's not a garment. It will be on my dining room table. I just think it's an interesting texture, and the chunkiness of it just sort of says I need to be on your dining room table. It does not feel like plastic. It does not have that weird slick feeling that something made from recycled plastic bottles typically has. It feels very soft, just like some type of an acrylic, I guess, but with a little bit of a fuzz to it. I don't know if you can see. It has a lovely feel, and I'm enjoying working with it. So if you need just an interesting little crochet project, try to, crochet up something for a table, like an entry table or a bedside table or your dining room table. There's no rules there. So, and I've never in my life worked with a size 10 crochet hook before. Never. This is all new to me, and I'm enjoying it. Then we went over to Joann Fabrics, and I have, yes, definitely unrolled this, but I was kind of hoping you could see these beautiful colors, and I will unroll it. But that's what compelled me to purchase this. I actually had gone in with the sole purpose of looking for a jelly roll, and I don't know if you've ever looked at those at Joann, but they're almost always, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like the forgotten area of the store. And there's somebody who is supposed to restock, and they put like 4 in just a random selection. There'll be 4 of these, and 3 of them will be the same, and then there'll be the odd man out. I had decided I was going to do a Valentine project like I did last year for either the 4 of us, myself, my sister, and then my 2 daughters, or I would do a Valentine project for myself and my 2 daughters and do something different for my sister. So I'm still kind of in a conundrum about that. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I didn't want it to be Valentine fabric per se. Valentine's Day is a day. But February, it's an interesting month. For one, it's my birthday, and it's Bam Bam's birthday month. It is like the precursor to early spring. There are some plants that you can go ahead and start from seed in February if you live in certain zones of the U.S. You start thinking about spring clothing and spring weather. I like February, and I wanted to make a specific to February table item. That's the best I can come up with. I just decided we all have enough purses and bags, in my opinion, and I wanted to do something different. And this is what I had planned to do. So I'm thinking about another table topper, but 3 of them, because They're perfect for a bouquet of flowers. If you go to the grocery store, sometimes you'll see little pots with daffodils, and you could put one in the middle of your table in February and it would be really cute. So you'll have to forgive me. I'm watching people across the street from me. I'm not really sure what we're doing. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so getting back to this, I want to show you, it is wine themed fabric that has been cut into jelly roll fashion, and it is so pretty. I love it. So here is this one. Nope, that's not going to focus. Okay. And then this one just has all the words, as does this one. I don't like the idea of putting my arm in front of what you're looking at, so let's do this differently. Okay. This is pretty. I love the rich color here. This appears to be I'm not really sure what you would call it. It's obviously a tone on tone, and it's just sort of a, I don't know, just a design. I like it. I'm sure there's a proper term for it. I like it though. Okay, and here we seem to have cork fabric that has, yeah, various cork identification. And then these are corkscrews. And again, we have a design. I think it's very nice. This is the first one that I showed you, I believe. Yeah, they look like labels that you would just tie onto a bottle of wine as a gift. All different ones. This is a grape leaf, obviously. And then this one, sort of a stylized wine glass. Unfortunately, as much as they might have wanted that to look like a glass of wine, it looks like a glass of blood to me. So I'm having a hard time. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. They're interesting, but they just look like dinner at a vampire's house. So I don't know if I will be able to use it. I might be able to knock that back a little bit with some dye. I may try it because I don't think I'll use it otherwise. So maybe some hibiscus tea dye. And then this, we have maybe some vineyard, yeah. Really pretty. And then this obviously is a continuation of that I just showed you. And the corks again. I will need to choose a background fabric or a backing fabric or both before I start on that. So I'm excited. Brand new project. Okay, and then the third thing is, we now know that my sister's granddaughter, I'll say, is having a little boy. He will be due in June. So I went through all of my heirloom sewing and kind of in a quick fashion pulled out a few books and patterns and just planned to kind of weed through. I may end up making, several outfits, but I did want to have something ready for the baby when it's, an infant. So clearly this little B&B's Blueprints pattern would be too large. It is a size 1 to 6, but it will be a good one to have on hand for future clothing options. And then this is a christening gown. This one might be appropriate. This without lace would be kind of nice as a little bib. Can kind of finagle for a little boy. I don't know. We'll see. I will go through this in a moment. Of course, I have the Wendy Shane book, Heirloom Embroidery for Boys. And it includes a day gown for the old-fashioned baby, which was designed and drafted by Kay Becraft. And that pattern, I think it's still in here. This was, yeah, here we go. This was my shop copy of this book. So it's been looked at and looked at and looked at over and over again. So there are some options in there. We'll talk about this and this in a moment. And then if I've got Mildred Gould's Baby Day Gown book number 3, which there's so many ways to create these little baby day gowns out of this particular book. The instructions are impeccable, and you can do the stitching by hand, you can do the stitching on your sewing machine. They're timeless. This has been copyrighted 1986. You know, they're definitely vintage. These are the pattern pieces, and then we have some more of the information about how to put this together. So there's that. Okay, now we're down to a few of the ones that I feel are absolute contenders for a baby layette, for something to come home in or to have ready when mama and baby get home. So the christening ensemble is very feminine, but again, it can be made less so. So there is this. However, I was especially interested in the little bubble and the little bird design, which has been stitched right here. So this I'm going to keep marked with this pattern. And there are other little boy centric items. The little slit back there for christening. I love, love, love these. Beautiful, beautiful options. So anyway, there's that. And then this one, I think, well, I'll save that one. So christening gowns is book 1, Ginger Snap Designs by Nancy Coburn, and any one of these could be made to look appropriate for a little boy. You just take the lace off, take the embroidery out, do some pin tucks on the bodice, do some pin tucks down here. It's perfect. So that's why that's in there. But this right here, I think, is the absolute takes the cake, sweet little outfit. It is dimensional applique sculpting. That is where we are with the new baby in the family. I have until June to get this done and mailed, sent off. Okay, and I will be right back. I also wanted to share a recipe that I kind of flung together this morning. Today was bread baking day. I decided to try adding muesli to my bread recipe, and this is the result right here. I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm going to give this a taste and just see. And you know, you should always just tear your bread, not cut it. Okay, so here's the texture. And you can see there's raisins, You can see there's whole wheat flour. There are some seeds from the muesli. It definitely has a really good flavor and a lovely texture. It'd make a good sandwich and good toast. Whole grain wheat, dates, sunflower seeds, raisins, whole grain, rye, barley, whole grain oats, whole grain triticale, which is wheat, almonds, flaxseed, and walnuts. So be sure, please be sure that you understand that this is not a treat for your dogs. I know a lot of people will, eat and offer this to their dog, but it has raisin in it, and raisin is deadly to a dog. So please don't feed this to your dogs. But it is delicious, I will say. Okay. Now I'm working with the satin skirt, the black velvet waistband for the overlay that is made from the net fabric. The first thing I'm going to do is address the issue of the waistband. There is just too much fabric on either end, and after a second fitting, Jessica and I discovered that we don't need those. We don't need any of it, so it can be right up against the facing, and it will need to be, stitched, cut and stitched out of the way. So I'm in the process of kind of coming up with an idea. In the meantime, I'm trimming them down and kind of tucking them inside and out of the way. So this is the front piece of the waistband that wraps around and is on the front. I'm just going to clip it, and I'm pushing it inside the waistband area. And basically just kind of holding it in place for a day or two with those clips. Replacing the pins where the buttonholes will go. I did remark them with that tailor's chalk just in case. I don't want to lose those markings. Okay, now I'm going to work on the inside waistband, and I'm doing the same thing. I am marking that spot right there is likely going to be a hook and eye closure. Okay, I'm going to trim off that excess right there and then fold it inside and kind of mimic what I did on the front, on the outside part of the waistband. So being a wrap skirt, you'll have one part that wraps over the other part of the waistband, and replacing the pin. Okay, so next I'm going to determine here. I've decided, okay, I know I'm going to pleat this vast piece of netting between the two white glass head pins. This is the selvage right here, and that will be the part that gets pleated across the top of the waistband. I'm going to use liquid or sulky water soluble, and finish off each side of the net with a roll and whip finish, which is a pretty tight zigzag. I decided that I would just fold the salvia in half and then fold it in half again lengthwise, and then just cut strips like so. and I can use those more than once because I can attach and then remove the excess for the other side. Okay. And Georgia said on a zigzag stitch, a 1/2 inch length stitch and a 3.5 inch wide stitch, and that's how I'm achieving that look with the stabilizer underneath my fabric. And this stabilizer is water soluble, so as soon as it gets wet, it just basically disappears. That's it right there. I'm just going to butt that up and keep going. Just zigzagging all along that edge. And I will now cut the excess away from that edge carefully. I didn't want to tear it. I did on the second side. It didn't hurt it, but my gut instinct was that cutting it was probably a better option because it might have pulled the stitches. But I got lucky. So I'd already brought a bowl of water in to the sewing room so that I could remove the sulky. Okay, so now I can just use this on the other side, but I do want to show you what happens to the excess solvy. So I have some water here, and it was really hot, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm just going to take the end that has all of that dissolvable stabilizer and just poke it into the water. We use the end of my brush to kind of hold it down in the water. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's starting to come away. I don't think you can, but the solvy is starting to just kind of come away from the fabric in like sheets, and it's turning the water kind of gray. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit for just a minute while I go grab a towel. I'll just lift it up out of the water, gently squeeze. Unfortunately for us, this net fabric is real simple to dry. It will air dry in just moments. Okay, so here is what we have stitched, and as you can see, there is none of this. I think it turned out quite lovely. It's that famous lettuce edge, and the weight of the thread will give this a lot of flow as she walks. So I think it's a very pretty detail. So I will need to do the same thing to this side. The sides have been finished, and the next step is to just choose whichever side of the selvage I want to use to pin. that is the way it looks pinned and pleated. And it is very long. As you can see, it's in a puddle on the floor. So I will need to mark it and cut it and then do that same treatment that I have done on each side all along the bottom hem. Okay, and after some deliberation, I've decided I will be using the Gutermann. It is color number 10, which is a black. I believe it is a blue black, and it will blend well with the black velvet that I'll be stitching the net to. And I'll be doing it probably just by hand as I am here in the sewing room. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that this video was inspiring in some way for you. I hope that you are going to enjoy a good and happy week. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.